Dan, tell me a little bit about Principal Financial Group's philosophy when it comes to financial inclusion.
It's all about access. It's making sure everyone has access to financial services products that help them through life, and equally as important, what happens in your retirement years.
When you think about the government angle of financial inclusion, and you think about what's happening or may happen in the US with the potential for a government shutdown, how will that in fact impact financial inclusion?
Uncertainty, right? We like certainty. To the degree there is or isn't a government shutdown, it creates uncertainty. It causes people to delay decisions that they might otherwise make about a purchase, around savings, and you don't want to paralyze people's decision making around financial security.
One of the things I found interesting in the survey was looking at what makes up financial inclusion, particularly from the employer perspective. And one of the aspects was flexible pay,
Yes.
where the US did not rank very high. Why is that such an important element, and what does that look like potentially for US workers?
Yeah, so I think for US workers, that might mean being able to get a portion of their paycheck in advance of a 2-week period of time. I think generally the system in the US is built on getting paid every couple of weeks. The cottage industry of advancing payroll comes with a pretty high price. And so employers are taking a pretty hard look as we speak on adjusting their payroll systems to accommodate that.
So then why is the US not number one on the Global Financial Inclusion Survey?
A country like Singapore is frankly much smaller. There's a lot of sort of reasons behind it. So maybe the right question here is, so what do we need to make sure that we keep doing in the United States so we don't slip down that you're out of the top 10 or out of the top 5? And I think it's pretty simple. Again, government and not creating doubt around what the government can or cannot do with regards to supporting individuals, and that could be around student loans or Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, Medicaid. All of those are important infrastructure mechanisms that the government over the years at the state and federal level have put in place to make sure there's a safety net. The second one is around the financial system, financial literacy, access to credit cards, no fees, electronic banking, online payment systems. All those fall into that next bucket. The third bucket is around what employers can provide. Again, we're talking about access to institutionally priced products.
And what about Singapore? What have they done to make them number one on this survey?
They have done a great job in government, in financial literacy. It has been literally a foundational element for the government. They were early adopters of technology for online payments. People understand how that works. And then employers, again, have recognized to attract and retain the best talent, they need to have competitive workplace benefits and saving through employers. So, and it's a manageable population. So, hats off to Singapore for scoring number one in 2 years in a row.
What would you say to HR leaders and chief diversity, equity, inclusion officers about what they're missing in terms of making sure their employees feel financially secure? What should they be sure they're doing right now?
I think they should not be afraid of tough conversations. We have a customer, his name is Bill. He's the president, CEO. His father founded the company, and his father ran into some very significant financial struggles. And Bill said it would never happen to him. He meets with every single new employee to talk about enrolling in the 401k plan. He has a healthy match, but he wants them to understand, those young people coming into this organization, they're in the printing business, how important it is to save for retirement. And I think about that. I mean, the CEO of a company, couple hundred employees, says, I want to see every new person coming in here because I'm going to emphasize this because his father went through such a difficult situation. So I think you have to care. At the end of the day, you're running HR, and I can't think of any more satisfying metric to knowing, hey, my workforce, not only do they do a great job servicing my customers, but you know what? They're on a path to financial success. It isn't in 35 years, the gold watch and a punch bowl, which we all know, those are gone. But what a great way to send someone off to say, hey, 65, 85% income replacement ratio, what an outstanding career. to have sort of the capstone to a great career.
When we're looking at financial inclusion, Dan, I think you've outlined so many important points about how government, financial systems, and the workplace need to work together to make sure individuals are financially secure, not just here in the U.S., but globally. And I thank you so much for joining us today to share your insights.
It was an honor and a privilege. I want to thank you for getting these important topics out to the American people so they can be better informed on the importance of financial literacy and gaining access to these important products.